We live in a society where we are constantly connected to the point of losing contact with reality and with people around us. Over the last few years, we have been progressively deprived of the feeling of authentic sharing, partly because of the uncontrolled proliferation and boundless use of mass media and social networks, which pay no attention to the quality of messages sent and received. There is an increasing tendency to live in an ostentatious world of appearance that leads us to live in a state of constant dissatisfaction that pushes us farther and farther away from reality. Communication is a constant feature that permeates and affects our everyday life. We need to relate to the world that surrounds us and to be able to communicate effectively. As the Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote in Politics, man is a zoon politikon, a social animal for his tendency to aggregate with other individuals and his inclination to settle down in society. Words, and therefore communication, characterize us as human beings. They constitute the basis of our life and of our relations with others. The term communication derives from Latin and indicates a series of processes that involve information transfer and exchange. In the original meaning, to communicate means to share, basically sharing aspects of our life with others. Communication is nothing more than a form of social expression. It is effective when it is capable of reaching the addressee and when an information is understood, becomes a common legacy for the construction of a discussion, a knowledge, and a culture. In addition to interpersonal communication, social media has become, since the birth of mass society, the main channels and means of social expression. Probably a Black Mirror scenario, though fascinating from the progress point of view, is certainly not that encouraging from the human and social perspective. One of the most unique features of this show is that it exposes all the negative aspects of the excessive development and abuse of technology. The most recurring paradox is precisely the one concerning communication, despite the fact that technology, more and more vanguardist, allows ample possibilities to communicate. Interpersonal relations and interactions are increasingly depleted. It is a dramatic series where the common thread between events is the theme of technology perceived in a dystopical way, and its relationship with human beings, who are often totally dependent and subjected to it. Regarding the social media theme and its impact on our lives, I think the episode Nosedive Season 3 is worth mentioning. Perhaps the one that better aligns the present situation of social networks and personal interactions. Nosedive is a satire on acceptance and the image of ourselves that we like to portray and project to others. This episode places us in front of a perfect world, in which there are no grays or blacks. Everything is in pastel shades, from clothes to houses and furniture. Everything seems perfect, idyllic, in a not very distant future. Lacey, the protagonist, lives her life trying to please everyone. Lacey is lost. She has lost herself in this world where she thinks that her value is equivalent to her points. She attempts a social climb and does her best to reach and approach 4.5, a rating that will allow her to buy a luxury villa in an exclusive residential neighborhood. In this episode, we are witnessing a real dehumanization of the future. This one reminds us of the invasion we experience every day, leads us to take note about the dangers of these technological means. Black Mirror's world shows people for what they have always been: lonely, capricious, selfish, cynical, strange, able to do great things, but also terrible ones. Some of the technologies they use change them unexpectedly and often turn the protagonists into disruptive people, although they always decide what to do with those technologies. Lastly, the series shows us how screens have become the new reality. In fact, the title of the series, Black Mirror, refers to the abundance of tools and objects with a black screen that surrounds the protagonist, such as smartphones, computers, tablets, television, etc. Banksy is the most famous exponent of street art, a media phenomenon, a faceless man, an artist without identity, who, while distant from the spotlight, manages to amaze the audience with acute and brilliant works that appear overnight in a completely unpredictable way anywhere in the world. His artworks are mainly dominated by pacifist, anti-racist, and especially anti-capitalistic elements. His works consist of satirical representations and illustrations that aim at a certain social, political, and cultural themes. These are about war, militarism, the capital system, and the corrupted institutions, globalization, and consumerism. He has always opposed the commodification of art, as according to him, art ceases to be so at the very moment in which it is monetized. Decided to make his thoughts even clearer in October 2018, immediately after an auction at Sotheby's. The painting, The Girl with the Balloon, had just been sold for £1 million, when a drawing, Self Disrupts, slipping down the canvas and cutting into dozens of strips for half its length. Under the incredulous and shocked eyes of the participants, the work of art is completed. Then Banksy, in a video published on his Instagram profile, shows how he designed and mounted the mechanism inside the frame structure to destroy the work of art just in case it was auctioned. Certainly, such a striking and explicit action highlights once again his thought about the monetization of art and his works.